Welcome, Trevor, to the Value Podcast. Good to have you. Do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah. What is up?
Hello?
My name is Trevor Akimoto.
Okay, last name, enunciate. We had a
Akimoto.
conversation because
We actually talked about this for
Yeah.
a little bit.
we debated the idea of introducing you with your first and last name. So we just
I feel
decided
like it's
first
a debate
name.
every podcast.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Should we
Regardless,
pronounce their last name?
sorry. Welcome.
You guys need to get your Japanese enunciation down.
That was the other part. I really wanted to make sure if you were Japanese or not, because that would have been another really terrible thing.
Definitely Japanese. Akimoto. Yeah.
Akimoto. Okay.
Perfect.
From Utah, from Sandy.
That's the
And
most white American thing I've ever heard.
yeah. I'm like kind of an anomaly because it's like I'm not LDS and I'm not white. And I'm
Right.
from Sandy.
Dude,
where it's
you're an alien.
90%.
Yeah.
I know.
You're like Post Malone.
Yeah. Well, he chose to be here.
That's a good point.
Did you not choose to be here?
No,
Well, because he was born here.
I was born
Yeah.
here.
Okay, so you're born here. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I grew up with everybody being Mormon and like, I'm Buddhist. I'm Buddhist by religion,
Okay.
by background.
Do you practice?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of a really chill, relaxed religion.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
don't think
We don't know what
active-
that's like.
You don't. I'm not gonna lie. It's such a different way of living.
Yeah.
And it's so like, it's not,
Can you give us an example?
I don't think that there is a way to determine like, are you active or are you practicing? You know, it's kind of like a way of living. It's a way of like mentality, versus Christianity, theology, like anything dealing with a God. It's kind of like faith and praising and
It's not the question of
active.
if you're active or not. It's just your life.
yeah,
That's what it is.
yeah. And there's like a temple in downtown, and
There is?
a Buddhist temple,
No
and
way.
I've gone there since I was born, but it's like I haven't gone in a few years, but I still consider
way.
myself like part of that community. But considering all the regulations and the standards and the rules, it's nothing like LDS. So whenever people ask me like, what is it like being Buddhist? Like, why are you wearing a robe? Why is your head not shaved? I'm like,
Why
oh
don't
my
you climb to the top of how often do you climb on top of mountains and meditate
do
for
you
2 days
float
without
while you're
eating?
meditating?
That's so funny.
And I'm like,
Do you though?
yeah, I do.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's a good.
Is that why you own 5 businesses?
Okay. Well, anyways, I work as a marketing director for a healthcare startup company in San Diego.
Is that the commercial
just
that you and
got
I
that
worked
job,
on?
though.
Or I worked on with you?
No,
No, different company.
different healthcare.
this is
company.
recently, right?
Like,
you're telling
okay.
us.
3 months. Yeah.
Okay.
Previously, I owned a digital marketing agency, which is still active. So I'm handling a handful of clients doing modern marketing for I don't know, numerous businesses in any industry. It's pretty much all what's the word? Referral based. Yeah, it's pretty much all referral based. It's very self-sustained, so that's
Yeah.
good until like the last 2 weeks where I'm working 15 hours a day and then I have deliverables that need to be met. It's like you having 10 videos due in a week. That's
Yeah.
how it's been. Aside from that, I have a couple Instagram accounts that are kind of like content, travel, photography based accounts that are doing pretty well.
Shout out names.
Utah Stoke and Earth Stoke.
Links in the description.
What?
I said links in the description.
Did you start those at the same time?
Yeah, dude. Okay, I will give you a brief story after I talk about the other ones real quick.
Really quick, can you put
Because-
the mic just a little bit closer to
Like this?
your mouth?
Yeah, yeah.
There you go. Perfect.
So, Earth Stoke, Utah Stoke are all influencer content creation travel accounts.
Yeah.
And then, oh gosh, what is there? The latest project has been a travel subscription company I created called Embarks, which we send out deals that are based on like certain locations. So say there is a flight deal to the Bahamas. We'll provide not only like how you can get that flight deal, but how you can get a hotel deal with that, what we recommend on like how to get around, whether it's public transportation or rent a car or ride a bike.
Wow.
As well as like what you can do in that area,
That's incredible.
as well as what everything costs. So it's like
All
everything.
in one email. You just get it.
Yeah.
I remember you and I had a conversation about that when
Yeah.
we first met, and you just kind of explaining. And like, from what I remember, you said something to the effect of you got an Instagram ad or you saw something similar to it, but it was only the flights, and you're like, all right, let's do this better.
Okay. The story is I know like one of my best friends, his wife is a worker for Flights from Home, which everybody knows. Like
Yeah.
Flights from Home, it's called Pomelo.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
basically Pomelo is the umbrella of Flights from Home, and they have over 100,000 paid subscribers. There's very, very low overhead. Right now, to sustain the company, I could probably spend less than $500 with employees, as I have a girl
A
in
year? Or
$500 a month.
Oh, okay.
To sustain a
Okay, okay,
business,
okay.
I could have probably 100,000 subscribers, making $3 million a month, paying $500
That's insane.
on overhead.
Is this is the company that you're talking about, not the one that you just started, right?
This is the one I just started.
No, this is
I just
the real
launched
deal,
this.
my guy.
Wow.
I launched this last week, charging $3 a month. It's like super, super low,
Yeah.
super low cost.
I signed up.
Yeah,
Oh
Tanner-
yeah. Also,
Tanner was a
look
test.
that up down in the description. That'll be the top link.
Sweet.
Dude, it's
For sure.
insane. I was going through it. No joke. I'm not just saying this because you're like a friend and on the podcast.
Yeah.
Top notch.
Sweet.
Like, it got me excited to go travel. Have you looked at it yet?
I looked at the email and then the website that you sent me as well, and I was honestly really surprised at how professional it looked, because I
Yeah.
thought I was like some kid in his 20s just made. I was like, this is gonna be kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But I was blown away at how professional it looked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, okay,
And
this
it adds
is
it's real value, right?
Yeah,
the
it's-
whole point of this show, that is real value.
for anyone,
For sure.
anyone on a budget looking for like inspiration or deals on travel, like destinations. It's that's the whole reason I'm doing this.
so
I'm like
crazy.
super passionate
Was
like
that
you
because of
about
a-
traveling.
Yeah. Is that because you wanted that when you were younger?
This company.
No,
I
not
mean-
the company, but like the opportunity
Travel.
to do that.
Yeah, dude. I'm so used to flying coach like to Iceland and China and all over the world. I've flown and like it's a mess, but I've learned how to find deals, I realized. So the brief story behind that is, and this is a testament to like anybody can run a business nowadays. It's insane how easy it is.
Yeah.
So like 2 years ago, March of 2020, COVID started in March of 2020. Okay. So
What's COVID?
Dun dun dun.
February of 2020, I flew to Denver and I locked myself in a hotel room for a week. Okay. In that week, I developed the entire back end of this website called Embarks, which was this idea I had, not knowing COVID was going to freaking destroy it. Right. And I'm literally in this hotel working 15 hours a day for 5 days straight. I built the entire
Jeez.
website from the ground up, which I don't know like every aspect of marketing, but I think just YouTube and Google and like trial and error, I was able to kind of get exactly what I wanted. Built the website,
That's
built
crazy.
the email, built like the email templates that we're utilizing, and built out the segmentation and the sequencing to get the people who are signing up into this flow, integrate that with a payment platform, get it up on social, get it running on ads, connecting your ad account to the website,
That's so crazy.
creating content that you can find through online. Like,
Yeah.
it's outrageous. So anyways, COVID hits, we had like 150 subscribers in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I hired a girl from India to be my head researcher.
Cool.
Yeah.
I paid her $1.50 an hour.
And like, just so people know that aren't aware, like that's good money for that part of the world.
I gave her $25, I remember, in a week, and she refunded me $5.
Yeah.
She said, I'm doing great. I'm getting my doctorate degree in New Delhi, India, and I don't need the extra money. Like I'm
Well,
doing,
and that's when the average is like $5 a month, right?
I know.
For that
That'd be less.
part of the country, really?
That is
Yeah.
Or part of the world, I mean.
insane.
So I would say amongst all of my companies and blah, 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 I probably have like 30 contractors who are in Pakistan and India and Africa, a lot in Pakistan. And yeah, right now my head researcher she's actually in Italy, but I'm only paying her like $70 a week on all, like probably 90% of the research for these emails, right? Which is still probably like 15 hours of work. So compared to paying someone $15 an hour here,
Yeah.
it's still way cheaper.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, so that launched again, like a second launch last week, and it's doing well, but we just barely, like right before I got here, sent out the email. That's why I was so late. Sent out the first email, and you know, with any beginning, there was already like an error, I realized, but I'm planning on kind of letting this company like take over. I want to build it to where I can leave my job, leave my agency, leave everything so I can focus 100% onto this travel subscription thing that
Yeah.
Are you like burned out from everything and you want to like kind of start fresh and focus on
good
one
question.
thing? Or is it just something you're passionate about?
I don't get burned out unless I don't like what I'm doing. So
Do you not like what you're doing?
this current job, I don't care about the healthcare industry that much. I
Yeah.
think there's a ton of capital inside of it.
Yeah.
Easy to get money, easy to get funding. But it's kind of hard to like deliver the right messaging in the healthcare space. It's like
Yeah.
so vulnerable for people to like find, you know, like give that side of them to a company and pay them to help you with your health. Like, I don't care too much about that. I'm way more into like into the travel aspect and, you know, into the action sports stuff. And
So the healthcare company right now is just to pay the bills,
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
That's
Give some stability.
yeah. Is it Tim Dallin or Tim
Dylan?
Dylan, yeah, Dylan. He's like the best time to start a company is when you have a job,
Yeah.
and that sounds like exactly what you're doing.
Dude, it's insane though, because you have to work. Like you have to work
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
And I like right now I'm working, you know, 5 to 8 hours on my day job, and then little breaks I'm working on this other stuff, you know. And then if I have deliverables I need to meet through my agency, I'm up till 4 a.m. editing videos or handling that stuff. And the last 2 weeks have literally been, I've averaged 4 hours of sleep in the last 2 weeks. But the reason I'm able to do it is because I'm doing something I love,
Right.
which is Embarks, which is this thing I'm seeking to find, you know, an investment in the future with. So I'm able to like still have energy somehow, you know, but if it was 15 hours doing something I didn't like, I couldn't handle a day, you know.
It's because of all the
That's so
mountains you're climbing being a Buddhist. It's like nothing
It's
for you.
unlimited energy, man.
That's exactly.
That's really inspiring. That kind of tells me I need to.
Well, you two are
Switch.
both like this. Like I hope
That's
you
true.
understand how
I'm just like a
uncommon you are
lesser
in the
version.
world.
I'm like a puppy version.
I call 150 people a day for insurance.
Yeah.
And
Is that what you
no
do?
one, yeah, I sell insurance.
He's being modest. He's the
And-
#1 sales rep for his company in the United States.
I'm like top
What company is it?
5%.
He's
It's just
number one.
I'm just an agent at Farmers Insurance.
Nice.
It's really not that big a deal. I just sell
That's my
home and
insurance
auto
carrier.
insurance. Oh, Farmers?
Yeah.
You got the right guys.
Yeah.
But like I literally talk to 150 people a day. If I can do that, I'll make a good living.
Yeah.
But you two I've never talked to people like you on the phone ever.
Mm-hmm.
You guys
Because
jump.
we don't talk to you.
Well, you guys
Period.
jump from passion to passion.
Yeah.
Just
It's true.
figuring it out.
true.
You know what I mean?
I the first time I met him, well, we after the missions, since the mission, I met him on the mission. It's been years, and so we reconnected. And Olivia, my wife, was explaining how I don't know if you're similar to this. How I when I find something I'm really passionate about, I like latch on for like 2 days and learn everything I possibly can about that thing. Like for instance, I learned NFTs and like sold and flipped 2 NFTs in a matter of 48 hours. And I slept like maybe 5 hours within that period. Just because like I wanted and like I needed that. I needed like to scratch the itch of exploration and doing something that I believed in, even for a second. And I wonder, when did you find that? Like, when did you find that passion to scratch that itch? I know you and I have had conversations about like
Yeah.
freelancing, but
Dude, we're the exact same. I like sometimes think of myself as like a dog because I'm like always bouncing. But dude, as I've gotten older, I'm 28 and I feel like I'm
Yeah, you're so not
still
successful.
young, but
Yeah.
like I used to be a freaking dog, just like this. Okay. And I'd forget about everything else I did. But I think always have been like this. And it started when I was skiing, when I was a teenager. Because I used to do X Games qualifiers and I was the sponsored skier and, you know, kind of getting paid a little bit. But
So you actually were on the mountains. Were you in robes as you were skiing?
I was in the mountains, dude.
It's going to be a recurring theme. I'm sorry. It's already happened.
It usually happens.
Dude,
in
I'm
the
a mountain
podcast.
guy. I'm a mountain guy.
So yeah, you're skiing, you're sponsored, and that's what you got obsessed with that, started getting obsessed with other things.
Yeah, I think skiing like showed me if I'm passionate about something, like I'm going to work hard. I'm going to make it work, right? Skiing, it was like an easy point, like A to B.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I want to land this trick, so I'm going to work my ass off until I do it.
Yeah.
Like it was such an easy, like here to here and you're good.
Yeah.
Versus everything else in business and life, it's just like there is not one point to another point, you know? But I think it like totally taught me that if you love something, you can then be motivated to have the energy to work your butt off. And then if you work your butt off, usually something good happens, you know?
That's exactly what all teenagers, young people in their 20s need to hear. Because our generation was told that stupid saying that if
40,
you
40.
work, well, no, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your
Oh,
life.
I see what you're
That
saying.
is the biggest lie that our generation was taught. But I think the truth is that if you do what you love and you're consistent at it, you can not only make a ton of money doing it, but the burnout rate is far less than if you're just doing a 9 to 5 boring office job.
And I
you
think
guys
also, I want to piggyback off that and I want to see your thoughts about this. I think also, like, maybe you do get in that steady job or what, maybe jumping around, whatever, and maybe you don't love it, but you persevere because you're like, well, I got to pay the bills. And I think that's kind of when depression happens too.
Yeah.
And so, like, for me, I sometimes get, I don't know if you're the same way, get depressed if I'm like working in a job that I don't really love continuously and I can't scratch that itch or fetch that stick, as use your term, as a dog. I can't fetch like the stick's over there, but I can't, like, I have a shock collar on. Like,
Dude, and you need to figure out how to turn that energy into something that's like super investable and that will give you a return, because that's the hard thing. It's like so easy to be so focused on something that like you're going to leave, right? But if you can connect all the dots somehow and everything you're learning ends up turning into something relative, like it's all relative from your past and the future. You know, like you're doing videos and you're doing a podcast and you're making a website and you're doing all this. And then, you know, 5 years from now, you'll look back and be like, okay, like all of these things are related in some way. And now I'm doing something way dope that is like derivative of those different things.
Right.
That sounds like what happened to you.
Yeah.
Like you're speaking from a firsthand experience.
Absolutely.
No, I was speaking out of his ass.
Dude, that's what it sounded like. I was this like kind of pro skier on the rise, and I had filmers, I had an agent, I was competing, I was traveling, and I realized, I like traveling a lot, but I also realized that like, okay, I can work hard. If I work hard, I can do this. I ended up getting an internship with one of my filmers because as I was getting older, I was like, I'm into video production.
Yeah.
So one of my filmers worked at this way sick like professional ski production filming company.
It was love at first sight.
Yeah, so I ended up interning there, and then I got a job at KSL at NBC for like 4 years as a cameraman. So I learned like heavy video production stuff, you know, and got just thick in the weeds with that. And then after I learned that, I was like, I want to be this videographer, traveler guy. I want to have clients. But then after trying that for a couple of years, I was like, this is stupid. Like what is the word? I'm like so needy of the people that can pay me. And if it's not consistent.
You're so reliant.
You're reliant. Yeah. So if you aren't consistent and you don't have that network, which no one does when they start, then you're kind of just screwed and you're just hoping for more work.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to figure out how to run a business, and I want retainer clients. I want monthly income coming in because I hate projects. Like I hate project to project. Like, you know, there's dry spells, you know?
Know it well.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of birthed the idea of Embark.
that birthed the idea of TAP, like my marketing agency.
Oh, okay.
And then that got really sustained, you know, and then I started building some wealth from my income there, and I bought a few houses, and then now those are sustained, and now my agency is sustained. So then I got a job because I'm an idiot, and I'm like, oh, I want more money, and I want someone to pay for my freaking benefits or pay for my health insurance, you know, like just stupid. I think it's like adult brain settling in and being kind of fear mindset based. At the end of the day, there's a reason why people work. It's comfortable, you know, but not for me. It's not for me at all. So for now, I'm like bouncing with all this stuff.
Should we give this healthcare company your cancellation now that you're quitting now? Or
I don't know, man.
There should be like a little disclaimer, right? Nothing on this podcast is fact. I don't know. So your company doesn't find you and say, oh, he's quitting.
That is true.
Yeah, it's kidding.
I hope we get to put that in there.
No, but I think it's good.
They're not going to see this. So.
Hey, you never know.
Get a call from the CEO.
It's true.
Hey, we saw that value podcast.
That'd be incredible. I would love that.
Yeah, we actually be really stoked.
If you want to send it to them.
Okay, well, before we move forward, then I'm going to say it's been an awesome job. Like the people, I'm not even joking. The people are way sick. It's like next to the beach in San Diego. That's like what brought me to that job was that it was like a stone throw away from the ocean. I like to surf too, but add that in there. Just make sure.
Got it. To take it. I think the dog in the other room is being a little poo poo. So go ahead and take it. I'm gonna see if my wife needs me to get the dog.
So
yeah,
pretty much five jobs or 5 businesses that you're running, maybe some branches, and even in that, how do you organize yourself? How do you wake up in the morning? You're like, gosh, I really need to do this thing right now.
dude, I'm terrible at time management.
Dude, I am so you.
Yeah.
Wow.
You need to get better though if you have all this crap, because then you end up working 15 hours a day.
Right.
You know?
Is it actually working 15 hours a day?
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
you kind of reference the idea of you organize more, then it wouldn't be as much.
Organized. Say that again.
If you like were better at time management, it wouldn't be 15 hours a day.
Yeah, it would probably be like 10 consistently, you know, instead of the extreme roller coaster.
Okay.
But to answer your question, I don't think I'm that organized, but I have like my to-do list. I have my monthly, you know, roadmap planning. I have my weekly sprint planning that I'm trying to meet those weekly goals and monthly goals. And then you have your daily tasks. It's like, I have those very concrete, which I didn't learn till like recently, like maybe the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But having those things written down, it kind of helps you prioritize what's most important. And then at the beginning of each week, kind of going through what you did and then going through what you want to do that week.
Yeah.
Because right now it's like I can get so distracted by the little tasks that you need like a weekly and monthly planning session to be able to understand like,
Or else you're screwed.
yeah, or else you're like, what did I just do? What did I just spend like 40 hours on? That was the most monotonous, stupid task. That didn't mean anything. No one cared about it. Versus like, if you are able to kind of, if you're able to develop these like planning sessions, then you can, you know, take away those stupid tasks from the beginning before it even crosses your mind, you know?
So do you use like a task manager? Is that kind of your gig?
Yeah, it's called Miro. It's like a, Tanner, what is it called? It's called Miro. It's basically this like roadmap board, like a creative board that you can use to,
I think he might actually shown it to me.
A lot of people know what Miro is. Yeah. I use Miro for monthly goal planning and like weekly goal planning. And then I use Google Sheets as like a daily task to do.
And we use Trello too.
Trello's sick. Trello's free. Yeah. It's free to anybody. Miro costs money. Google's free. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, cool. So since this is such a foreign concept to me, and I would say like 90% of the world,
Yeah.
you find what you're passionate about, and then you do a bunch of research on how you can monetize that?
No, I mean,
Is that
It kind of
like, how do you chase these things that you're just so passionate about?
I want to take
That's
it. I
such a
want you to
foreign-
clarify if we think the same way. For me, it's like find something that's passionate and then like almost manipulate a way to make money out of it.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah. Money is important, you know. It's not everything, but it's like, oh man, the amount of things you can do with money. You have so much freedom. You have so like I think money, the valuable part about money is it gives you freedom of your time, right? You can choose to spend your time differently.
Which most people flip-flop that, but it's the opposite. It's the other way.
Yeah. So to answer your question, like I don't know if it's manipulating something, but it's just being creative on figuring out ways. Like for me, I think one of the most creative things I did was I'm going to start an agency. I don't know shit about marketing. I don't know anything about web development or SEO. What is SEO? What is a blog? Like, why is that valuable? What is like this thing called content? Like, what does that mean? Right.
Yeah.
But I ended up just trying to like figure it out. I made every mistake. I think I reached out to everyone I knew and got a few small clients. And then I was able to figure out like, oh, if I charge $1,000 and it only costs me, you know, $500 to hire someone, I make $500 and I didn't do anything. I learned kind of that concept of management, and then it's easy. Then you don't need to know everything, you know? But I feel like it was like, I'm pretty stoked about that process that I created because it started with, I like making videos. And then it was, I need more money. Like I need more consistency. So I created this encompassing marketing agency. And then over the years and hiring contractors, you learn a lot about these different aspects.
Yeah.
To the point now where it's like, cool, I got best of both worlds. I was able to hire people and make a profit and do like a good job. And now I know actually how to make websites, and I can build Embarks as a website and I don't have to pay anyone money. I can just do it myself. You know?
became that much more of a tool, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's I kind of in the freelance world, as far as I've understood it, it's almost like, to your point, it's almost like knowing or learning just a tiny bit about a wide variety, so you can speak the language of people that know that one thing super well. Especially as someone who like runs a company, it's like you might know a little bit about web design, you might know a little bit about camera stuff, you might know a little bit about photography, music, whatever. But as long as you can understand certain lingo within those different sects of business, then you can hire those people that are incredible at those specific things. And then from there, it's just managing, right?
That's what Elon Musk said that when he started SpaceX. They asked him, how the heck did you get from where you're at now to starting a space company? And he's like, well, I just hired a bunch of people that were smarter than me.
He's like, it wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
It was like these 5 or 6 individuals that are the best at what they do. And I brought
just
them.
hired him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah. Such a genius.
You're friends with him, right?
Yeah. I was just at his house.
Is he a Buddhist?
Wow.
Pretty sure.
You guys walked up the mountain together.
That dude is freaking awesome and so weird.
Yeah.
And so controversial.
Do you think he's on the spectrum?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, have you guys heard about how he started the Boring Company? The underground tunnels? He literally, from my understanding, he literally just was with a coworker and said, hey, I have this idea to get to work on time better than we are now. And he's like, well, let's dig a hole under the earth, drive through it, and then we'll get to work faster. We'll skip all the traffic.
Period.
So he's like, how are we going to do this?
Yeah.
So they got an excavator and went out to like the desert area of California, dug a hole, got the investors from Tesla and said, hey, we have this idea. Come check it out. They showed them the hole and said, hey, this is our idea. We're going to build these underground tunnels for the Teslas, and they'll just drive you to work. It'll be way quicker. And look, we've already started. We dug a hole. That's all he did.
So
It's insane.
is your hole Embarks, or is your hole your Tap Digital? Or is your whole
for sure Embarks?
Embarks?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna add, in that same like freaking week, he made flamethrowers and sold all of them in
That's a good
like
point.
3 hours.
It made like $10 million.
Yeah. And it's insane. Like it's just conceptualizing things and then
Doing it.
and then executing. Really.
We had someone on the podcast a few weeks ago and he really believes he's a producer and a tour manager for a few artists, and he was saying something to the effect of like, if you have a vision, like just do it. Like if you have a logo, just create it. If you have an idea, just do it. There's something that's lost between idea and conception that if you don't conceive it, then you don't know if it's going to be successful or not.
Didn't he call it making it physical?
Yeah.
Is that
Like make it tangible, make it physical, see that thing, bring it to life. And so I wonder if, to go back to the dog analogy, because that really struck me, is the stick the idea or is the stick the distraction? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's both, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
probably figuring out the balance is the hard part?
Right.
Yeah.
Because I can guarantee you there are people out there like, oh, I have an Embarks idea. I have a Utah Stoke idea. I have a XYZ. And so I'm just trying to pick your brain of like, for them, how are they going to understand what is the step that they just need to take? Because it's very ambiguous to say, do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I guess what is a tangible step?
I don't know, man. Maybe I got lucky because and everything just relates to itself.
Yeah.
You know, a tangible step to execution and making it so it's not just like a phase. I don't know. Man.
That is such a good quote. We need to put that on making something a phase versus like a reality.
Right.
A reality
That is
versus
like-
a phase.
That is such a good quote.
We don't believe in the metaverse here on value.
Yeah, dude. I wish I could tell you. I don't know. I will say when I started, I was wanting to be that travel content creator and I wanted my Instagram to blow up and
That was our first conversation you and I had about that.
I was going nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going nuts with like all this energy and passion into my Instagram. This was like 2015,
How many followers did you have at that point?
like 5,000, not a lot.
Wow.
Right. And this was my personal, like Trevor Akimoto Instagram account. And I'm DMing all of these big travel content accounts, right? Beautiful destinations and like vacations and all these big ones with millions. And I'm like, hey, can I get featured? And they say $1,000 for a post or $2,500 for a permanent post. We'll leave it more than 3 hours, like on our channel. I'm like, oh, you charge money. So
You're like, huh?
so I'm laying in
light
bed.
bulb.
I'm this like kid. I was like 21 or 22 and I'm laying in bed and it's 11 a.m. and I start this account called Earth Stoke in Utah Stoke. And I'm like, these freaking idiots want to like charge me $2,500 for a post.
Myself.
I'm going to freaking do it myself. I go, and this is before there were a ton of restrictions on Instagram. I posted like 300 posts that day, right? Just completely blank slate.
So where do you get these posts from?
I screenshotted everything and it
Oh
was
my
completely
gosh.
illegal according to the terms of Instagram. But
You were so small they didn't care.
so small they didn't care. And if you think about it, content creators love the free publicity on Instagram. So who's going to sue you when you're helping them, right?
Yeah.
Within a month, it was like at 20,000 followers. Earth Stoke. Utah Stoke was at like 1,000. And I was like, holy crap. I get my first DM from someone asking for a feature. I said, give me $20. Bing. Like right in
Done.
my PayPal
Period.
account.
No
I started
way.
making money off of a month's work of just posting random travel crap that I thought looked cool. No strategy, right? Till now, 5 years later, I have two little brothers. They're 15 and 19. They're running both of the accounts. I don't touch them. We have a monthly meeting, like once a month, go over metrics. Earth Stoke is 198,000, I think.
Oh my
Utah
gosh.
has like 45,000, and everybody's wanting to partner with us. Everyone's wanting to help,
And your brothers just run that. They
yeah.
say this is how much it costs. They don't run anything by you.
Not really. Like my little
That's
brother's
sick.
19 now and he was 14 when he started working for me.
Yeah.
And I was paying him like $8 an hour as a 14-year-old, And then I started giving him commission off of our sales. And then I was working at KSL as a cameraman and I didn't like it. But I remember one week I was like, if I was going to California, I was doing a road trip to California, and I was like on the road trip in the car, it's like, I want to figure out a way to quit my job at KSL. If I can make in this weekend as much as I make in a week at KSL through Instagram,
I'm done.
I'm going to quit.
Yeah.
So literally like between like Fillmore and St. George, the drive is like 2.5 hours. DM'd like 60 people. I made like $500. And I quit my job the next week.
Oh my God. So you DM them.
Yeah, I DM'd
And
them.
just let them know.
Yeah.
That's so sick.
And I used hashtag research, like just super simple stuff. And so, yeah, so that was like a cool proof of concept. Like, oh, okay, I don't need this stupid job where I'm getting paid hourly. And that's what I kind of learned, that being paid by your time is just a waste of time, I think.
Yeah.
Unless you're making
Make
$1,000
money when
an
you
hour.
sleep.
Unless you're like a CEO of some company.
Yeah, but even salary jobs aren't paid by time. Those are paid by deliverables, by work efficiency, by how you're performing, you know.
But usually with CEOs, they get like stock and all that stuff. So
They get equity.
yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, so that's kind of the story behind Earthstoke. And now my little brothers are, as like 15, 16, 17-year-old little like kids, they're talking with marketing directors of Cotopaxi and Columbia.
Probably have no idea.
And all of these
High
companies.
schoolers.
And they're just like these freaking enabled kids that don't know how to work because I spoiled the crap out of them. But I think it'll pay off, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, then maybe they just know how to work the right way. Like you're teaching them the most important skill they could learn.
I'd hope.
And something that's interesting, since I first met you and heard about the Utah and Earthstoke story, I made an Instagram as well, kind of in that same vein, but it's focused on a certain niche. I won't say what that niche is now because it's still in development stage, but essentially there is a real world example of how one profile inspired someone else just to create and do their own thing. And I'm sure there's lots of people out there.
Yeah.
So find your niche, create it, do it.
Yeah.
There's a butt for every seat in this world right now with the internet.
Well, I had someone come up to me, well, actually a family member, and was like, "Hey, how are you going to be different?" And like it was a great conversation. Very smart individual, had some really good things to say, but at the end of the day, like I might not have the vision, or we might not have the vision of this whole thing yet. But it's like there's so many butts that have yet to be placed in their seat that it's just a matter of like going and starting, and maybe. I always say like it can be a stepping stone for something else. Like just because you have this job or you just have this thing that's going, well or whatever, doesn't mean it's the only stepping stone. Like doesn't mean there isn't another step, or it'll bring you to the next step. And it kind of sounds like from your career, it's just a matter of like, okay, what's the next opportunity? How am I going to take these lessons that I've learned in this career or this job to take me to the next step?
When you're 28. Imagine where you're going to be when you're like 50 or 60.
Right.
Yeah, dude, it's wild because you don't realize like when you're taking those steps, it's kind of just like the new thing, you know? And then when you look back and you're like, damn, I did all of this stuff. It feels so sick because like, dude, even a year ago, I was just kind of doing my thing. I was doing well, but I look at the last year and you don't notice as it's happening. When you look back, you're like, holy crap. But now I'm just being involved with a lot higher caliber like things, right? Like investor pitch meetings where you're trying to get $5 to $30 million of funding, to selling and exiting a position at a company. And like, it's not just like making videos anymore. It doesn't like, it's not that anymore. It's a lot bigger and bigger real estate conversations and, all of these opportunities, but it just progresses naturally. So I think I agree. Like you need to take those steps and you don't really see because you're walking in the shadows and you don't know what's on the other side. But then when you take a look back and you're like, okay, it was all worth something,
Yeah.
I'm in that state right now, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there. I literally have this thought. I had this thought today, had it yesterday, kind of had it in the last week. And I don't believe in coincidences, so this podcast has been good for me. Kind of as we kind of wrap up, kind of the value that I've gotten for this is like, man, I've felt like I'm not progressing enough. Like I'm not in the freelance community or whatever. And from what you said, it's like it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah.
As long as you're finding that another stick, and you're like finding that balance, right? And just finding your passion and keep going and keep going and keep going. I'm looking forward to looking back. So you're inspiring,
I'm
dude.
looking forward to looking back. That'll also be a quote. That's
Tanner
sick.
Keller.
That
And
is a
I'm
sick
looking-
quote.
Thank
Most
I'm not
you.
people
gonna
don't
lie.
even say that.
That's a
Like,
waste.
I feel like the boomers out there, that generation, they don't want to look
Boomers. Yeah, it's
back. You know what I mean?
oh my
They
goodness.
don't want to look back. It's super boring.
Maybe for our Patreons, we'll talk about is college worth it.
For real. For real.
No.
I do
No.
have to ask you,
Yeah.
and this is a hard question for most people. Would you say you're lucky or just a hard worker?
Man, I get called lucky by people who are resentful
Yeah.
for sure. And then I
Yeah.
say, look what I've done though. Like, look at the hours I've put into it versus you. Because I think when you mix like work and opportunity, that's literally just like luck. Keep in mind, there's good timing, and
Yeah.
there's meeting the right people. But everything is, again, looking back, it's like steps you take to get to this opportunity or to get to this lucky moment. It's like you put yourself in that position.
Well, it's a super famous quote. It's like, it's something to the effect of, luck is just preparation for the right moment.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think?
I don't know, because so for example, my job, I got unbelievably lucky with meeting the people that I met, make a great living, love my coworkers, love the guy who's my business partner.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say it was luck, but as soon as I was at a point in my life where I could say yes to every single thing, every opportunity that I thought sounded interesting, and taking that risk, I would almost say I'm a risk taker versus lucky. Like,
Yeah.
I was totally fine early on knowing that I was living with my family. If things didn't work out, I was still going to have food on the table, still going to have a roof over my head. That I took that opportunity just to say yes to as many things as I possibly could that I thought sounded interesting.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So I wouldn't say it was luck. It was, and it sounds like you were in the same.
But you're preparing to be
situation.
saying yes.
Yeah.
There are certain
Yeah.
people that aren't prepared to say yes to opportunities.
Yeah.
They don't know.
Yeah.
So
don't
like a
know.
risk taker,
That's
right?
a really good point. They go to college because that's the only opportunity that they have in here.
Yeah.
Right? So they're not going to say yes to opportunities
Interesting.
unless it goes within that narrative that they've created.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
you said it yourself. It
yeah.
is so freaking easy to make money these days. It is so easy to learn skills.
Also something 90% of people wouldn't agree with.
I know.
They're wrong.
But I love it. I
They're
love it. That's
wrong.
why I love talking to creators.
Yeah.
Because they all say the same thing. Mr. Beast came out with the chocolate bar. Did you guys hear about that?
No.
He came out with this
It's-
chocolate bar.
It's insane.
Yeah, chocolate bar. And if you have, it's like Willy Wonka. You open it
Yeah.
up. If you get the golden ticket, you win a Tesla, be on a video, money, something else.
So it goes even a step further. He sent, just for a second, I don't know what it is, a few hundred boxes of chocolate bars to just creators, just like really famous creators. So influencers, right? And then on the box, there's a little lock with a timer on it. And the timer wouldn't unlock for the candy bars until the video was released talking about said candy bars. So when the video was released on YouTube, it gotten over 38 million views in 24 hours, which is insane. And then those influencers send off those candy bars to their followers.
Oh, nice.
So it's like, that's a creative way.
So you talk to Mr. Beast and he's like, yeah, it's so easy to make money. I'll
yeah.
just send out chocolate bars.
But they're going to do it in a creative way.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And he's at the point where he doesn't he has so much funds available to him,
And influence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I listened to a podcast. He doesn't make that much money. He makes,
Yeah, he talks about his margins being like razor thin because he just keeps investing.
yeah, it's hilarious.
And that's really good. I mean, that's kind of what you're doing to an extent,
yeah.
whether that's real estate or your companies. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sure that's why you're in the medical field right now, to get that constant.
There's a lot of money. in healthcare. So
I really think, I mean, you talked about the value that you got from this podcast. I think the value that I got from this podcast was if you do what you love or what you're passionate about, you'll never run out of energy. Might still
I
feel like
love that.
work, but you'll never run out of energy. You can work 18-hour days. At my job, I love it. I wouldn't say I'm like over the top about it, but I really do like it. I don't think I could work 18-hour days for 2 weeks.
Maybe you need to check yourself.
What?
Check yourself.
take a step back,
Maybe I
man.
do need to take a step back. Maybe
That's
I do
it.
need to
Dude,
take
that's
a step
another
back.
quote. Let me get it. Come on. I got it. It's coming on a shirt. If you're tired, no, I got nothing. I was going to say something like, if you're tired, maybe get a new job. Ooh, just kidding. There it is.
We'll post that one. That's going on TikTok.
What was it? Was something about Buddhist. It was, I look forward to looking back. And then if you're tired,
gonna
get a
have
new
to
job.
sage.
We're definitely
What?
going to have
I'm
to
such
have,
a sage. I'm so wise.
well, we're definitely going
kidding.
to have you on again,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So
Thank you so
thank
much
you
for
for
coming
joining
on.
us.
Thank
You'll be
you,
able to
guys.
find all of Trevor's stuff in the links down below.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
Great. Thanks, guys.
thanks, guys.
Yeah. This is
And that
freaking
was-
good.